You are live.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the May 24th, 2023 meeting of the Annapolis Environmental Commission. My name is Allison Colden. I am the Commission Vice Chair, and I'm happy to welcome you all here tonight. I represent Ward 7 in Annapolis, and the first thing we will do is kick off tonight's meeting with a quick roll call of all of our members and staff who are on the call tonight.
Marianne Marbury, Ward 1.
Linda Matthew, I think Ward 5.
Jeremy Hansen, also Ward 5.
Great. Jenny, you just jumped in. We're just doing a quick roll call.
Jenny Janice with Ward 6.
And Racine.
Racine Hodo, City of Annapolis.
Thank you so much. Welcome everyone, and thank you for being here tonight. I am going to quickly share my screen so you all can see this evening's agenda. We are going to move a couple items around just in the interest of time and the interest of quorum. So for the moment, we are going to skip over the approval of our April 2023 meeting minutes. And we are going to go to our staff updates and presentations. So I will turn that back over to Racine.
Okay, so last week, Jackie gave me the updates for the resilience and sustainability projects that are going on. And the updates are very much like what she went over in the April meeting. You know, Hawkins Cove, we have Baylands consultants and designers that have been chosen for the first phase of the Hawkins Cove project. The CBT and the City of Annapolis has almost chosen all the projects that are going to be funded. An announcement will be made when the decisions are out or done. Let's see here. I can tell you that the Department of Public Works is updating, it's in the process of updating their website. And as part of that update, the stormwater project workflow requirements will be available online for nonprofits that are doing restoration projects, and it's a step-by-step what to do for those types of projects and when to get in contact with the city and what to bring and the whole process of it. I think it was last week we had a waterways cabinet meeting. Randy attended. Allison, I think we invited you as well, but I guess you couldn't make it, but I hope you can to the next one. Those meetings are really very interesting. Let's see. One of the things that was discussed during the Waterways Cabinet meeting, I haven't finished the minutes yet, but there was a breach in a sanitary sewer line. When it happened, the City of Annapolis notified MDE right away, and then also called MDE and then sent a written notice of what was going on. I guess there was a spill in February or a breach in February and a breach in March. And because it happened, these two events happened so close together, the way Sam Bryce explained it, he said, if something, it has to do with oil or grease that built up sort of a plug, and then the plug released. It did not get it to, well, I think it did get to a water body, but I don't have all the details on it. And so Sam said, the first time it happens, you go out, you address the issue. The second time it happens, you take a look and see if there's something structurally wrong with the sanitary sewer itself that needs to be fixed, and also addressing the issue. Let me see if I have notes here from that. Okay, so I don't have the water body, but it's right near Spav Cove Apartments. I don't know if you're familiar with where those are located. And Sam says it's from people washing dishes, and oil gets washed down the drain, and you wash with hot water, it gets into the sanitary sewer, it cools off, and then it coagulates. And then it builds up over time. And then what happens is there's a breach. But again, the city notified MDE right away as required, and then sent a written notice right away to MDE. And there was a glitch in MDE's system somehow, and they didn't address this right away. There was some sort of holdup. I didn't get into their system right away, but the city did notify them as required. Let's see what else we have here. So the last meeting, Replant Annapolis, the city wants to fund fiscal 24 Replant Annapolis to get some trees planted. The tree canopy goal from based on what Eric Lashinsky said, we are looking to change it from a 50% tree canopy goal to a 45% tree canopy goal. And that's based on sort of a healthy ecosystem for trees. I am working with, I met with Marianne and Teresa McKenna for Save Our Trees. And we're gonna work together on trying to find some funding for the Save Our Trees group. And I'm gonna try to help facilitate the grant writing process with them. Let's see what else we have. I think that's pretty much it. The resilience plan, Jackie is working on an outline for that, and she is going to be reaching out to the AEC for input. And we have test sites chosen at the Annapolis Solar Park to test out a non-chemical approach to planting pollinator habitat. So we're moving along on that slowly, but we're moving along. And that is all I have right now. I sent out last week this document to you. You should have gotten it. I think it was on the 16th that I sent it out. So you guys could have a chance to take a look at it before you came to the meeting today. And are there any questions about, I mean, have you had a chance to look at it? Do you have any questions about what was on the projects list?
I don't.
My only question is with the pollinator habitat, that location, my memory of it is that it's actually has a bit of diversity in plantings. I just wonder what other locations were considered for that.
I don't think that there are other plantings there. Unless you're talking about the trails.
The solar, where the solar field is that right?
Correct. It's turf grass in the solar field right now.
Okay.
Yeah, and we did not really think of or look at any other sites. Part of this is sort of one of those ideas that the mayor came up with, and he wants to, be able to, while encouraging the use of solar energy at the same time, we could potentially provide pollinator habitat.
Okay.
And we are a bee city. So it started with the mayor and it moved from there.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Racine, I had a question. I wanted to follow up on this sewer,
Yeah,
the sewer breach.
yeah,
So the two events you mentioned, February and March, were in the same location or at the
Yes.
same?
yeah,
Okay.
yes.
And then did you say that there was another one more recently than March?
There
Okay.
was one in February and one in March. And it's behind the Spa Cove Apartments. I'm working on the meeting minutes tomorrow, and I have a recording which has all the details from Sam. I'm just going by my quick notes. What I'll do is I'll put a synopsis together based on what he told the Waterways Cabinet, and I'll forward it to the AEC.
Thank you, Racine. I'm just wondering if one thing, I mean, unless Sam indicated that this is an unfortunate but standard thing that happens, I'm wondering if it would be appropriate to try and do some additional, education. I know in the past I've seen educational campaigns around not putting oil, grease, fats, the fog monster, these types of things. Fats, oils, and grease down the drain for this very reason. So do you guys have any plans for that? Do you have any resources for that?
That specifically, the fog, it was mentioned in the meeting, and we talked about it in the meeting.
Okay.
And Jackie made note of it, and we will be looking at putting out some more educational pieces about oil down the drain and so on and so forth. But again, Sam said it comes from just washing the dishes. Mostly. So
And there wasn't, I'm sorry.
So, if there's a little bit of oil in a pan that's left, it gets washed down the drain. You wash with hot water, it goes down the drain, it gets into the sanitary sewer, and then it cools down and coagulates. But Jackie did make note about the fog. Suzanne Etkin from WSA brought that up, and we talked, and there was a little bit of conversation about some further education about that.
Perfect. And if you don't know now, in your synopsis would be great to know if they actually did find any damage to the infrastructure there or not. Just curious.
Okay, in the meeting, they had not found that out yet, so I won't have that information in the synopsis I send to you. But it is something that is high on the list of something to address. And they're going to start looking at the sanitary sewer specifically for structural issues to see if that may have caused or helped, facilitate what happened.
Okay. Thank you so much, Racine. Does anyone else have questions or follow-ups for Racine based on her updates or otherwise?
No, thank you, Racine.
Sure.
All right. Well, before we move on, I just wanted to ask in our wonderful behind the curtain staff, Julian, do we have our other presenter with us?
No, she still has not shown up.
Okay. So that being said, we can move on to our action item for this evening, which is to review and approve our 2023 AEC priorities. Considering we are in May now, hopefully we have been touching on some of these already. As we discussed the last time we chatted about these, there are a good number that are holdovers from last year, which is not necessarily surprising, but there are things that are important and ongoing in 2023 as they were in 2022. So I'm going to share my screen quickly so you can run through these. You all should have received them just before the meeting if you would like to open them on your own screen. But also, these are ones that we have already discussed, so I will just sort of summarize them quickly. We can discuss and then see where we are with respect to a vote on adopting these. And if not, we will see if these can be adopted via email after the meeting if we do not have a quorum. So the first one is the Annapolis 2040 Comprehensive Plan. This is one that actually was not included in our previous discussion of this particular document, but obviously is one that we have talked about a lot in our meetings, as well as talking about supporting staff who are working on the comprehensive plan. So the action item here is to actively participate in reviewing those aspects of the comprehensive plan, which are under our purview, including environmental, climate, and access related portions of the plan, as well as other items like the water access plan, which is going to be supplemental, but also part of the comprehensive plan, as well as developing opportunities to interact with our city environmental and community organizations to get their input on those particular sections of the plan. Next is our sediment and erosion control protocols. These are ones that have been updated by the city and just making sure that those inspections are proceeding. There's additional legislation that's under consideration with respect to this as well, which I believe we have weighed in support of in the past. So as that legislation moves forward, we can continue to engage there. Reviewing and providing feedback on the city's resiliency plan, which Racine just covered for us, that is currently under draft and will be sent to us for our review and input. Urban tree canopy, we had a couple of items here, supporting legislation to reduce tree loss on private properties. And so there were two specific action items that I put underneath this to help our aldermen address concerns with the previous legislation through additional research or outreach to provide our recommendations, as well as providing a comparison of different ordinances dealing with backyard tree protection in other areas. And I believe, Jenny, you were the one who mentioned the city of Austin as a good example in our last meeting. So I wanted to make sure to capture that there so we didn't forget where we wanted to look for some of those examples. The Conservancy Board and identifying opportunities for reforestation. So we also mentioned last time that the GIS staff of the city, as well as obviously our forester, Brian Adams, could be a good partner on that. And then working on a resource needs assessment for the maintenance of trees on properties, including invasives removal. So really this is coming up with an assessment of what is needed in terms of resources, budget, manpower, so that we can more effectively advocate for that in the city's resources and budget, but also find places where other volunteer groups and organizations like Save Our Trees and others could kind of plug some of those gaps. Lastly, we've got development. So this is sort of an ongoing thing that we do in terms of reviewing development projects and providing feedback on the sufficiency of their environmental protections. Specifically, the ones we identified as kind of outstanding were the Willows, the villages of Providence Point, Rocky Gorge, and Godspeed. And Racine and others have been keeping us updated with that development spreadsheet, or at least been asking for it for us. The single-use plastic bag ban, which is moving forward at the county level and hopefully will be introduced at the city level. And then lastly, track the implementation of our environmental DEIJ priorities, which we presented last year to the mayor and the city council. So I will stop there and welcome any discussion or feedback on these before we consider them for final adoption. All right.
I mean, it seems like a thorough list.
Very, very thorough.
Yeah.
And,
Just a
and
couple of
Allison,
things to do.
yep. And you incorporated what we discussed in March. So that's looks good.
Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is I will stop sharing my screen now so I can see how many folks we have on the call again. We have
Oh,
5
there-
people.
There was
Go ahead,
one, so I do think the term nature-based solutions could be in there just as get that buzzword kind of in. We were talking about green infrastructure and having that be,
Oh,
and
yes.
I wonder
Where
if
that
like,
got to.
if somewhere in there, it really could be anywhere, because it relates to so many of these, but just even have that as a, like,
I'm
promote.
going to add that under our climate change resilience section right now.
Right.
Nothing like working on the fly.
Mhm.
So you've got 5 members on, so you have a quorum for tonight. But I think the meeting minutes from last week, you can't vote on because Allison, you weren't here. Okay.
Right, Linda and I were absent, so we can vote on these AEC priorities. Thank you, Racine, but not the meeting minutes. Especially city. Okay. So I added something in there, Jenny. I think you guys I see most folks are in the document, but for the record, I added a bullet point that says that we would like to encourage the adoption and widespread use of nature-based solutions and green infrastructure. And I took the liberty to add, especially on city-owned properties. Obviously, we have a lot more ability to recommend and push those things on city-owned properties, but also just trying to encourage them more generally. Does that work for you, Jenny?
Yeah, it's great.
Okay. All right. So seeing that we do have enough of a quorum to adopt these 2023 priorities, I would be happy to entertain a motion to do so.
I move to adopt the priorities.
And I second.
All right.
Third.
Thank you, Jeremy. All in favor, please, Jeremy and Marianne. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed? All right, hearing none, the 2023 AEC priorities are adopted as discussed this evening and with the one addition of encouraging nature-based solutions. Thank you all again for your feedback and for your input on this, and maybe by next year we will get them done in January. So we will get there, guys. But thank you all. I think as a follow-up, you will be getting these final, now that these priorities are considered final, they'll go out to our AEC members. I know several of you have already expressed particular interest in sort of being a lead or a champion on some of these, and we absolutely appreciate that. So we'll sort of pencil folks in next to some of these items so that you know that you can sort of take these now and run with them with whatever support you may need from your fellow AEC members or staff who are willing to support those items. And from this point forward, we'll do sort of a monthly report out at our meetings as to what progress has been made in the past month on some of these particular items as we move forward. Does that work for everybody?
Mhm.
Yes.
Great. All right, I just want to check in one more time and make sure that our presenter is not hanging on the line anywhere.
I'm afraid not.
Okay, thanks, Julian. There are no additional items on the agenda for this evening, so I just wanted to open it up at this point for unfinished or future business.
I do have one thing I forgot to tell you about with the comprehensive plan. The draft of the comprehensive plan is pretty much done. And Eric said that they were targeting the end of May to get it prepared to be released for public comment. So that's the next phase. I guess it also has to go in front of the planning board. So that's where that stands, but it's moving along. It is moving along.
Thank you, Racine. I know we had offered, and now is now one of our 2023 AEC priorities, to try and help organize opportunities for the environmental and community organizations in Annapolis to weigh in on the comp plan. Do you have any recommendations? Should we reach out directly to Eric and try to pull that together, or should we wait until it's just sort of released and then go from there? Do you have any suggestions on how the AEC might help get in front of this and get some organized comments together?
Eric is a really nice guy and easy to approach. And if you want to sort of stay in front of it or on top of it, a quick email to him asking him, how it's going to be best for you to submit comments. I'm sure he'll answer you.
Okay, thank you for that advice, Racine. I appreciate it. Do any other members have topics that they'd like to bring up as unfinished or future business, future agenda items?
I just have a question. I asked Randy about this. As part of Ward 6, I wanted to be able, and part of this commission, I wanted to be able to provide comments on the planning that's been done on the Eastport Terrace property. It's such a large site, and I think having the opportunity for nature-based solutions for a lot of the infrastructure there that will be needed. I just don't want that to be a missed opportunity. So what is the best approach, and who should I talk to? Probably maybe others want to provide insight as well. And I don't know whether we should request a document that we can comment on, or if I should reach out to someone in particular to discuss it.
Eric, again, is, I think, the contact person or the best person to approach. I don't know, under what his role is in this project. But I do know that he has been to Eastport several times to talk about the project, to have on-site visits. And he's very much aware of the Hawkins Cove project too. And we want to make sure we tie that into this redevelopment of the area, and that, an opportunity isn't lost. So you might ask him, again, a quick email, and I'm sure he'll answer you.
Okay, great. And I'll share whatever document I get, and that others, if anyone else wants to provide comment on it, that opportunity will be there.
And Jenny, if you think it's something that would be helpful to others to learn about and provide feedback on, we can also always invite someone to come give a presentation at one of our next meetings.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a huge area, and it's going to undergo through a big change. So there's a lot of opportunity for some of the things we're talking about to be planned for. So yeah.
For my benefit, and maybe for the benefit of others who may be watching, could you just give like a 30-second synopsis of the project and some of the opportunities that you're thinking about, just so that we know
Sure.
kind of where it is and what we're talking about?
So it's in Ward 6 along Hawkins Cove, just off of President Street. It's the Eastport Terrace housing complex, and HUD offices are back there. And it's in a planning phase right now for redevelopment. And there will be a number of the same number of existing units, and I think additional units. It's from a housing perspective, it's the plan is mixed income, but from an environmental sustainability and resilience perspective, it is a large piece of land that could offer ecological benefits, beneficial stormwater management. There will be new roads, new parking, more impervious surface. So I that's where my knowledge is more on how the development side of it could be done in a way that stands as an example of how this can be done. Less on the other side of it with the housing pro forma and how that is getting arranged. But I think that both aspects of this project are, could be interesting to the commission.
Yeah, thank you for that summary. I think absolutely we have few opportunities for redevelopment and doing things better than we did last time. So
Yeah.
thank you for bringing that up in front of the commission. And I will follow up with Eric on the comp plan engagement. Jenny, if you want to coordinate so that we're not totally bombarding him with emails,
Okay.
I'm happy to do that. Or if you want to reach out separately, that's fine as well.
No, I mean, if you're going to send it, you could all in one email. Sounds great.
Sure, I'll make sure that you're CC'd on it, so it will come to you as well.
Mhm.
Any other folks have business to bring forward? Discussion items?
One maybe a little more straightforward thing is I believe, Allison, you and I have our 3 years coming up soon, and I know Racine had reached out to Hillary, but I can't remember where things ended or what, if I need to do anything or am I supposed to initiate something?
Yeah, Hillary told me that she will contact you. It's really her thing, working with the boards and commissions. But she said she'd contact you.
Okay.
I will send an email to her though, reminding her and see if she has anything to update.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, is it Allison and Jeremy?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know if you plan on staying on the commission, or if you want to step down?
I was planning to stick around.
Okay. Oh, great.
Yay.
Great.
Good. I'll follow up offline, Racine. How about
Okay.
that?
Okay.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you for your input and for helping get these 2023 priorities approved. They will be sort of just cleaned up a little bit and formatted and sent over to the mayor and city council so that they have them as well. And unless there is anything else, I would move to adjourn.
Oh, one more thing. I won't be here next month. I'm having another daughter, so
Oh,
she's
Congratulations, Jeremy.
thanks. She's due June 21st, so I definitely won't be here for the AEC meeting.
All right, good to know. Thank you for the heads up, and we will try to do a little bit better recruiting for our quorum next month, knowing that we'll be down one. But an exciting time for you, Jeremy, and congrats again.
Thanks. Thank you.
All righty. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening, and we'll see you next month.
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Allison.